from Mark.
I thought Nigel Farage played a blinder in not turning up to the declaration because there was something definitely waiting for him there. If you listen to the declaration, when his name was mentioned and the amount of votes he had, not one person clapped. When also the declaration was made that he was the new MP, again, there was total silence. That room was full of people that were just about ready to have a go at Nigel, and he did exactly the right thing in not turning up.
Well, do you know what? From one West Country babber to another, I heard that accent there, Mark. I know you're one of my peoples. I agree. I agree, actually, because if you know you're going to be putting yourself in front of people who just want to try and humiliate you or bully you or mock you or not enable you to speak, who don't even have decency or courtesy, who, frankly, behave like sociopaths, why would you just go, why would I do that? Why would I go stand on stage with all the national TV cameras pointed at me and people are going to heckle me? Someone's going to try and pull off a stunt. You know, some idiot's going to try and storm the stage or whatever it may be. Because this is the thing, having been to plenty election counts, by-elections, general elections, my own election count when I was an MEP, that turned out into a farce because people in the Green Party were literally standing on chairs shouting that we were racists and monsters and we need to be stopped. And it's horrible. And this has been going a long time. When you participate in an election, you get to turn up to the count. You also get to bring a limited number of people who will have tickets to that count. And you can guarantee that probably all 30 people on that ballot paper who are not Nigel Farage were planning on themselves and their invitees of doing everything they can to ruin the moment that the declaration took place. That is what would have happened. That is, I'm certain, why Nigel Farage took the decision he took. He said that the police had warned him there was going to be protests. The police turned around and said, we never said that there was a security threat and he shouldn't come to the count. No, but that isn't why he took that decision, as far as I can tell. From someone who knows him and knows this game and from the outside looking in, I would assume the police said, of course there's going to be planned protests. Well, who do you know who's invited into the count? Do you know if they're going to be disruptors? Well, you know, that's up to the local... I can see what's gone on here, and he's just decided, why would I subject myself? Why would you stand there and allow yourself to be pilloried and picked on? So I don't think it's a sign of weakness, actually, either. I think it's just a sign of pragmatism and going, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? But there we go. I don't know whether that was the motivation behind his decision, but like I said, I've known the man an awfully long time and I know how it tends to work at these things, so I would imagine that that's a reasonable conclusion to draw. Let's speak now to Martin, who's in London. Good morning, Martin.
Morning, Alex. How are you?
I've had better days, weeks, months and years, but otherwise I'm always joyful. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. If you look at the reaction from parts of the media today, I mean, it was to be predicted, of course, because most of them hate Nigel Farage. But to me, it strikes as if they've got utter disappointment this morning. I mean, realistically, they knew that he was going to win the by-election, but I think they thought it'd be perhaps a smaller turnout than the turnout that it actually was, and that the margin of victory would be slightly smaller. And, you know, they haven't got the moment that they wanted.
Yeah.
You know, what they wanted was him on the stage last night, stood next to Count Binface, you know, Freddie the Fish Finger and whatever other joke candidate there are standing in this election, for there to be mayhem afterwards while he's making his speech. I have no doubt, as the voice note a minute ago just said, something was being concocted, something was being planned. Who knows? Somebody probably would have thrown a big ton of money on him, or you know, fake Monopoly money or something so that, you know, there's images long term that you can keep going back to. It would have been something like that would have been planned. And the media are furious, the likes of Sky News, LBC, the BBC, they're furious that they haven't got the moment they wanted.
I agree.
Humiliation.
I agree. I think you're absolutely right. They wanted the ritual humiliation. This all started in 2016 when they created that jamboree on College Green by building scaffoldings. All the TV cameras could constantly film people looking like they're going on adult rag week and probably needed to check into asylums with, you know, EU berets and that bloke with the blimmin' megaphone, and they seem to love this. But I think what they're failing to understand is whenever the legacy media and the legacy political parties express ridicule and contempt towards what they deem to be the dangerous populist right, is people in the country feel that that contempt is towards them personally. And I think you've got that spot on. I think Mark's voice note got that spot on as well. And I think unless the establishment wake up, look at that result in Clacton, look at how little polling is moving about the place. I mean, yes, of course, we do know that these accusations and allegations against reform is having a bit of a suppression on their polling, but I also think that's down to there being a new leader of the Labour Party. There's also the Rupert Lowe stuff going on, which might be pulling away certain votes. And yes, Kemi gets to look sassy at PMQs. So there's all sorts of other environmental factors that are implicated in the moves in the polls. But what I can see personally, as somebody who's been in politics for 20 years, is the movement really isn't big. It's not decisive. People are going to back Farage, are going to stick with him. And that is my interpretation of what's just gone on in Clacton and what has been writ large. Martin, thank you.